In 2011, I had the opportunity to work at a retail store that I never thought I would have. I never expected to do that kind of work at that kind of store. It wasn't your average retail store. It was an outdoorsman's paradise. It was a hunting, fishing, camping store with a lot of related apparel, shoes, gifts that go along with that theme. Survivalists, doomsday preppers, backpackers, that kind of store, okay? So I'd been a Boy Scout as a kid. I loved the outdoors. I loved camping. So I applied for the store. I've been hunting in a variety of environments for a long period of time. Have a lot of experience hunting. I have a lot of experience fishing. So I loved this store. If Even if I never had a job there, I would have been there all the time. So I landed a job there. Now, at the time, I was working at the fire department, so I worked 24 hours on and then 48 hours off. So there were three shifts in the fire department, each shift working a 24-hour shift. So the each shift would then get 2 days off, and then they'd be back for another 24-hour shift. So it was very easy for me to have a part-time job. Once I started this retail job, though, I was really amazed because all of my life I'd had these jobs in these sort of government run entities. So I'd been a city inspector with the City of Kansas City inspecting asphalt and concrete under the city engineer. And then I was a teacher in a public school district. I was a teacher for a couple of years, an instructor, not a professor, at a university. And then I taught at a public school in Texas, seventh grade. I really liked that. But then I went to work at the fire department. Okay, so all these jobs deal with government entities. They're not private sector jobs. They're not jobs in a capitalist kind of environment. So this was a first for me. And I was really shocked because there were incentives. So if you did a really good job, they started to realize that whenever I was on the floor of the camping department, the sales went up. And my boss came and talked to me and said, "You've got a really good soft sell technique." And I didn't even know what that meant. So he said, instead of a hard sell, instead of really pressuring somebody to buy, you just keep them here. You talk to them and you just keep them here. The longer a customer stays in a store, the more likely they are to buy something. It's just common sense. It's statistics. So the more I talk to customers, the better my sales will be. I just couldn't believe that. They started giving me gift cards and, little incentives here and there. I'd never had incentives before in my life, and it was amazing. But the most fun I had in that environment, in that retail store, was the people. And of course, it's all about the people. So there's customers and there's fellow employees. So the camping department was surrounded by retail, by all the clothing, okay? And then there's a little gift section. But a short walk through the clothing and you're in the hunting department, and that's where all the guns and ammo are sold, all the crossbows and bows and arrows and all the hunting gear and traps and so forth. Then the opposite direction, you walk a short walk through retail and you're in the fishing department. Now that really made my head spin because the hunting guys are all cops. They're all ex-military. They're all a specific kind of person, okay? They all have a very similar personality. They're like a type A personality. They like to look at you straight in the eyes when they're talking to you. Their shoulders are squared against somebody that they're talking to. They have very good posture. They have very short haircuts. They're almost all clean shaven. Very athletic. Okay, and the guys in the fishing department are a little bit sloppy, they're a little bit careless, they have long hair, they don't keep really close shaves, some of them have beards and mustaches. They don't like a lot of direct eye contact, they're much more introverted types, and a lot of them seem like a California surfer kind of psychology, okay, kind of. Dude, you wouldn't believe where I caught this flounder the other day. It was just so amazing. I was on the kayak that I got that you set me up with. Man, that kayak is so smooth. And there were these birds. It's so beautiful. I mean, talking to these guys in the fishing department takes forever. Whereas in the hunting department, they're short, direct answers to direct questions, you know? What do you need? You know. So, just a little teaser here, little teasers into what will be longer chapters. One day, I worked close to the border, close to the Mexico border, and Mexicans love to come into the store. Mexicans love hunting, and a lot of them do a lot of camping also and cooking outside, so they like cast iron skillets and things like that. A lot of stuff that we sell. A lot of Mexicans would come and spend a lot of money there. So a lot of the customers would only speak Spanish. So I struggle. I've got my gringo Spanish, my Spanish with my American accent. I've got a pretty good vocabulary. I can understand most of what a customer asks, and I know how to ask them to repeat and say it slower and did you mean this and this and this. So I can communicate with customers that speak Spanish if they're patient. But this guy that worked in the apparel section next to me, these camo clothing, was right next to me, next to camping. Between camping and hunting was camo clothing. So this one guy's name was Jeremy, and Jeremy's face would turn bright red if you talked to him, and he would look straight down at the ground before he would respond. And he's a little bit of a shy type. Okay, so he's kind of quiet and difficult to talk to. So one day I heard him speaking perfect Spanish with a family. And he was just very relaxed speaking Spanish, not in a halting kind of breaking kind of pattern that I had. Just very comfortable speaking Spanish, clearly. And so the next quiet moment we had, I walked over and I started to talk to him. I said, "Hey, Jeremy, where did you pick up your Spanish? It's perfect. You didn't learn it locally here on the border." And he's kind of looking at the ground and kicking the ground with his toe and sort of, you see, back in 7th grade, my mom got remarried, and her husband decided to take me on a trip to meet his family. And so we flew to Paraguay, and we landed in Paraguay, and he had a family member pick us up, and we went on a long drive out of the city into the countryside. And he's asking me if I know how to ride a horse. Am I comfortable riding a horse? And I told him, yeah, I can ride a horse. So we get there, and it's evening, and he puts me on a horse, and we go riding. He's on a horse, I'm on a horse, and we go riding. And we ride out, and we're riding, and it's getting dark. And we're riding, and we come to a campfire, and there's a wagon, and there's a team of horses at the wagon. There's some tents set up, there's a cabin. And he introduces me to all these guys, and they're eating, and I'm really hungry, and I'm really tired, and I eat a big meal, and I go to sleep in the cabin in these bunk beds. And I wake up in the morning, and my stepfather's gone, and I'm with these ranch hands, and he leaves me with these ranch hands in this mountain property in Paraguay for 2 weeks before he comes back and gets me. And at the end of 2 weeks, I was fluent in Spanish, and I knew everybody in his family, and I learned a lot about herding cattle and wild horses. And that was his story, and I was just spellbound by this story. The head of the hunting department used to go to Argentina to dove hunt. So many crazy stories with these people. And the guys in the fishing department, there was a political kind of war that erupted in the apparel department. And just really, really amazing. I learned how to make gumbo from the salesman who was a salesman for the boats, sold the boats. I have a story about an amazing fire that almost nobody found out about. It just so happened that one of the security guards was going through the security tapes before it was deleted. I think they keep all these security cameras for 120 days, all the security videos, and then it gets automatically deleted. And so the security guys are constantly going through those videos to make sure there's nothing that needs to be saved. They can save it on disk before it gets automatically deleted on the hard drive. And they just so happened to stumble on this fire in the boat motor repair garage. That was really a funny story. Hunting stories. The guys in the hunting department set up this amazing hunting camp, and I paid in on that to be a member of that hunting camp for 2 years in Zapata, Texas, on the border. Well, I hope you enjoyed my brief little teaser for my retail stories. Take care. Have a good day.